Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Drew and you're watching the Melody League Sessions, a series of live house stream concerts benefiting the artists of our time. Without further ado, here's my interview with Darren and Stacy King, Sucre, on Melody League Sessions. Hello everyone and welcome to the Melody League Sessions. I'm Drew, and on this session, I am joined by two of my favorite artists, and they just happen to be married to each other. Darren King and Stacy King. How are you guys?
Hi, we're well.
Thank you for asking. How you holding up, Drew?
You know, sometimes I don't know how to answer that question because I'm like, good, but just weird. Like, I'm in my garage, recording with, a laptop and some extra equipment from the studio. And I literally didn't have a mic stand this week, so I did this.
Oh, that's great. You could get sort of a Leslie. You can get a great way to get sort of that. Yeah.
It's very inventive.
Yeah.
So wow. Darren King, if you don't know, and you should, and you will after this interview, plays drums. He has played in Mute Math on numerous records. Produces, writes music. He's done remixes for Switchfoot. He's done remixes for all kinds of people. We've known each other for a long time. Stacy, we've known maybe just as long. We're going to talk about this more in a minute, but she was in a band called Isley.
It's been a while.
And we toured together back in like 2000 and what?
Back in the good
I don't
days.
know. And now she is in Sucre. And her and Darren produce music, and she sings and writes, and that is amazing. Two musicians that they're a power couple. What can I say?
Aw,
The best kind of power couple right here. I'm not kidding when I say that. In all honesty, you guys. And we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, but just how are you guys doing? Where are you now? Are you at home? I think you're in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're home, and we're taking each day at a time. But I think we're hanging in there. It's kind of nuts. I mean, it's just adjusting to the new normal But I think we're at a better place, obviously, now than when we first got into it.
It's crazy. Mm. I've been calling it the new abnormal.
Mm. Yeah.
Because it just ain't normal. It's weird.
No, I think maybe I could document each week of this time of isolation by what unsustainable coping mechanism I chose for that particular week, and some less,
It's like Oreos week 1.
I very clearly tell me if
Nintendo.
Have you? Yeah, we are thankful we have a Switch.
All of a sudden we're like gamers again.
Drew, have you felt that this season that slowed us all down also has caused you to get real sentimental at any point? Did you go through a phase? This is what happened to me. Is about 2 weeks ago, I just wanted to be a teenager. I wanted simpler problems, and all I wanted was 90s music and my grandma's cooking. I started making like the comfort food that I knew from her. I was listening to, it was Fleming and John. I was eating like that, my Smashing Pumpkins, I went through a 90s week, and that was like a way to cope with this.
Yeah.
Can you relate?
Man, I've gone through phases. Like, I find new places in the house to hang out, like outside, out in the side yard. I'm in the garage. I kind of built the garage thing.
What's like a good setup you have?
It's a complete wreck.
Well,
it looks like Sun Studios over there. Don't you downplay that. It looks amazing.
There you go. Yeah.
Incredible.
I was just tracking some piano a minute ago.
Chill.
But I've gone through like the exercise phase where I'm like, I need to get out and exercise.
That's kind of
I'm
where
gonna run
at.
every day. And then it's like kind of like home improvements.
Oh, we haven't gotten there yet.
No, are you familiar with an Australian cookie or biscuit, I suppose, called a Tim Tam?
Oh yeah.
That's kind of my
That's your weakness.
And
just
coffee.
Just put on the reorder. Just
keep them coming.
Yeah.
Just Amazon shipment after Amazon shipment.
Just kind of keeping me going right now.
Tim Tams. I know. I've had more coffee than I should. I'm out of good coffee. I started drinking the bad coffee.
Yeah. Have you considered tea?
Yeah, actually I drink yerba mate now. I kind of rotate off coffee, drink green tea and yerba mate for a little while.
She's all about matcha.
Yeah. Like matcha lattes. I don't just drink it straight, but yeah, that's
stuff.
been my jam. Put a little mint in it. It's good.
So now we're in this weird time, as everybody knows. Like, here we are doing a show from our houses, and you guys are going to do a set of music, from your house, like a house show online. This is all in the coronavirus season for future watchers of this in the distant future. But were you on tour when the lockdown happened? Were you at home? How did that hit you?
I spent the first week of March in Los Angeles. I signed a publishing deal at the beginning of the year, and so I've been, for the first part of this year, trying to write songs for other artists and singers and produce tracks that they can write and sing to. So I was in LA doing my first session, and it was while there in that first week of March that we all started. That was when the NBA canceled, and I feel like that was a moment where people thought, really? Oh,
it was
okay.
I think it was like the 13th.
It's happening. It's happening, and so all those, and then when music festivals started canceling as well. Whenever ACL, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of which one it is in Austin, South by, canceled. But so I was there and got home on the 12th, and from that moment on, we haven't seen a soul.
Yeah.
We've just been here, the four of us, our
We've
little
been
family.
Quarantining big over here. We really haven't left.
And I hope Stacy doesn't mind me saying this, but I mean, she's kind of been training for this her whole life.
I am more of a paranoid nature.
She's no, and I'm just talking about in your comfort level at home with just four people.
like I just
That's
love
your
this
like
thing?
yes.
Yeah.
that's one very big and unique difference in our relationship is my proclivity to want to see and do as many things as possible. Where she would like to be centered and grounded, and I'm starting to see her point. The still staying put thing does have something to it,
Yeah, I mean, they both have their pluses and minuses. It's one of those things like, some people have been quarantining for years.
Yes,
For sure. It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying the family time a little bit because I have 4 kids. You guys have 2, right? And
yes.
It's kind of like, wow, this is us basically, like being around each other all the time and seeing the best and worst of each other. But it's hard in that you're around each other all the time, and I can imagine you guys both musicians. So my wife has to be around a musician. Your wife has to be around a musician, but your husband also has to be around a musician.
Yeah, there's no escaping.
There's no escaping, right? So you guys have a really interesting dynamic. So do you find it, balancing each other out, or do you both go into seasons of writing at the same time, or do you both kind of work on music separately and trade off working on music? How do you get that musician self-expression time? How do you guys trade off and work together on that kind of thing, or how do you do that?
I think just having kids, it almost seems like it's never enough. You know what I mean? But we try to make it work. We try to balance our schedules, give the other person space, and trade off as much as we can. So I don't know. I feel like we're always just trying to find the balance there.
Yeah.
But we do okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I work well in short spurts, so I can get a lot accomplished in just like an hour or 2. So if it even takes the kid outside for a while, I'm good.
What's cool though too is that you guys, like Darren, I've seen on your Insta like all the sick drum videos and samples that you've been putting out and stuff. So you guys have like a studio setup already going at home, right?
Yes, and one of the big perks of being married to somebody who loves the same thing that you love is that I forget that I take it for granted that she has never expressed any apprehension with us turning in any house into a recording environment at any time.
That's true. You should see our house.
And so
crazy right now.
But we're in the front room and we've got all our gear here around us, and she's very patient with that noise.
I don't even think anything about it at all. I mean,
I have my whole life just loved singers I've always just sought out. I just wanted to be close to singers. That I can't. I wish I could be a great singer, but my daughter's calling for us.
Yeah,
I'm so
say
sorry.
hi.
Yeah,
Who is it?
it's Solin.
Hey,
Yeah.
Solon.
So this is what it's like.
That's all. I know exactly, dude. I'm the same. See, look,
So I'll say that it's been so wonderful to be with somebody who sees what you do as valuable and meaningful and shares your love and passion. But then there inevitably is a competitiveness that might come along with either opportunities or even just whenever things seem to be moving along for one of us and then stagnant for the other. That's really hard. And the beautiful part about the way we collaborate whenever we make music together is that we're almost rarely in the room together. And she'll watch our daughters or do whatever she wants to do while I make a 2-minute track. And then I will leave this instrumental that usually just at least has a verse section and a chorus. And I'll go watch the girls and hang out with them and do whatever we do while she sings to it. And so then I come back and it kind of feels like leaving notes for each other. These post-it notes, and I get to celebrate. I could sit down and I could write for a week, and I would never come up with those words and those melodies, and I certainly will never sing them. But then I know how to, mix, edit, and produce that. It'll make me redo the track. She'll come back, and it just becomes a ping pong process. And so we're not together until we're just listening to a final mix and tweaking that. It's a fun way to work. You and the guy should try it sometime. Have you ever? And maybe you have to right now. Have you been writing together?
A little bit, yeah. We've been doing more like just performance, songs from our houses. Not as much writing. We've got a whole bunch of songs like in the vault that we've been working on from the studio. But that's so interesting, man, to see how you guys work, because the last time I saw you, it was so powerful because you were opening for Scary Pool Party.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Remember we connected in San Diego.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and you helped us load all of our gear out at 3 in the morning.
Drew, and you loaded my drums.
That was big. Haven't
I know
forgotten
how it
it.
is. I'm your roadie.
You practically just let us piggyback that night. Just hop on. There's a lot of stairs.
Hey, whenever
hop
you
on,
come to
Darren.
San Diego,
You're
I'm your guy.
You're a kind soul.
Yeah.
That was a great night. And but you're playing drums, and Stacy, you're singing, and you guys are on tour, and then you're playing drums also with Scary Pool Party.
Mm-hmm.
And did you produce for them as well? For him?
Well, I have him. Actually, I have a solo. I'm calling it solo. It's a collaborative record. It has 15 different vocalists on it, and he's one of them. And his track is really special. Might be my favorite of the record. It's very different than all the other tracks, and yeah. So I have just two vocalists that I'm still waiting on contributions from before I go to mixing that record.
Dude, is that the Lockers?
That's Lockers. Yeah. Sorry, and I didn't mean to jump ahead. I didn't mean to
That's
jump into
good.
anything. But yeah, Alejandro is on what is currently track 3 on the Lockers record. Yeah.
It's gonna be
That's
really
all.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be dope. And Stacy, so I'm trying to remember where we first met, but I'm assuming it was on the tour back with Isley, right? And Switchfoot.
Yeah, which
2007,
it's
6.
kind of a blur. I
Does
was gonna
that-
say that, but I wasn't certain. I was gonna say 2007, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 07.
So that was a super fun tour. It's just good
really fun.
vibes the whole time.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. That's the defining feeling.
It had to at least be before. It was we toured together in 2007, and the Switchfoot tour was right before the Meat Master.
Right before. Okay, see, he's so much better. I remember these
Spring.
since I've been touring since I was literally a child. So it's just like a blur. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, what does that seem like to you? Does it seem like a whole different life?
in some ways, yes. I mean, definitely. I don't know. It's just been normal, I guess, for me.
Right.
But yeah, like he said, I'm more of like a homebody in general. But it's like once I'm pulled out of my like shell and then once I'm out there, like I have so much fun and I love performing and playing and all that. It's just getting me out of the house.
You know what? I see that in a lot of artists. I mean, even John's that way, where on stage you're like, wow, who is that person? And then
Exactly.
right? And then after the show, it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
you know,
For sure.
I'm done with that for now. I need to protect who I am and be quiet. Well, the Sucre project is phenomenal. And so everybody that's watching this, what you need to do is you need to go and follow Sucre on their Instagram, Twitter, all the socials. And you're gonna get a live Melody League session from Sucre, with Darren and Stacy on their Instagram. And or actually, do you know what platform you guys want to do it on?
We're gonna try to do Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Is that a good idea? We're gonna at least do Instagram.
Yeah. Put it out on whatever one you want, man. And so, what's that gonna be like? Do you guys have any kind of preview for us of not music, but just like, are you gonna new songs, old songs, everything in between?
I think I want to try to like polish up a new one. Maybe, you know, at least if we can finish it in time, which I think we should be able to.
Which one? What's it called?
I don't know yet.
Okay, sorry. I thought that.
We'll see.
But you
But
can
it'll
see
probably
behind
just
us,
be
we're
like
kinda
literally right
trying to get
here.
trying to get the setup ready. I'm blocking it, and that's Stacy's little battle station. And then I'll put the drums over there. But yeah, this is where we'll do it.
Yeah, you guys are, like I said, a power couple. Everyone needs to know who you are and follow you. And anyone that's watching this, if you don't, you're missing out. So you need to get on board and check them out, follow
You're
them,
so nice.
and support Sucre. DK Drummer is what Darren goes by on his Instagram. And Darren, I was trying to think, we met at the same time in 2007. Was that when you guys came out? Because our other, like the opening band left the tour that we were on, and we were like, we need an opener, and you guys, was that tour?
Yes, and that was in like Rochester, New York. We did just 3 or 4 shows up in the Northeast, right?
Dude, I was so stoked that you guys came out.
Though I'm trying to remember, if the first time we met was actually a show in New Orleans, not at the Sanger Theater, but across the street, where Mute Math opened for Switchfoot. We did a one-off, and I think you would have joined by that point.
Yeah.
I remember Chad walking out and sitting at my drum set, looking at it, and being like, "What? He was just kind of baffled by my setup and how like high my seat was, and the bass drum was angled. He's
How
like,
junky.
Never seen anybody play like quite a piece of crap like this. Like, we make it work.
Yeah.
I thought you were
I mean,
gonna-
he was very, very kind. You know, Chad.
I love that.
You're not gonna harm a fly about it. That's what stood out to me. It's like, yeah, I need to maybe step up my setup a little bit. It was a really special show. I remember that first one. That was early on. That was like show number 10 for Mute Math. You all let us open for you really early. We had just started calling ourselves Mute Math and not just Math. You know.
Okay, because I thought you were going to pull out Earthsuit, because you were...
Yeah.
I might have met you with Earthsuit. You were playing percussion with the band for a while, and then...
At Cornerstone Festival?
Yeah, maybe.
Which for me, I always look at Cornerstone as this utopia, and that was as far as I ever dreamed. That was my highest musical aspiration, is if we could close out the side stage at Cornerstone. I mean, you probably quit after that, right? You know? That's it. Can I tell you a quick Cornerstone story, Drew?
Dude, you've got some good stories. I was thinking of one about you and Chad, too, that you told me a long time ago, but tell me the one you were going to say.
About 5 years ago, I remember we had just moved to Nashville, and I was just getting really sentimental, again, a thing. And I started looking up Cornerstone 2003 and trying to find videos of maybe, people who had gone to that festival. For anyone who doesn't know, it was this music festival in Bushnell, Illinois. That was, I think, a really great festival. And that was, I think, also kind of a peak time. Or maybe other people would disagree, but that was me fresh out of high school, and I got to go as, with Earthsuit. And I found this video of these two high school age boys from like Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and they had a VHS camera, and they were just doing that annoying thing of going in people's faces and saying, "Hey, you want to say hi to our friends back home?" And I watched this whole video for 10 minutes because it really was a perfect time capsule. And the last person that they put their video camera on was a 14-year-old Stacy.
What?
Yeah, it was
like,
her.
But very like annoyed.
And she was just like,
Very
she shut
angsty.
down, like,
Yeah.
and they were just being, go do us. And her dad steps in, Boyd, who's the best. He's amazing. He's the coolest guy ever, best father.
He's a unicorn.
And he goes like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" It's like, "Oh, we were just trying to get people to say hello to her." You're like, "Okay, well she's, like,
Yeah.
back up a little bit."
Stressing her out.
Yeah. She's
It was
14.
fine,
Get away.
yeah.
And in that
But
moment
it's just
too,
weird that he found that.
it was so weird. And also the face you made was the same face you make whenever I wear you out. It was amazing that you had it. It was like, oh, these poor schmucks were like preparing her for me to come there.
I don't. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't remember
That's
that.
how it works. That's totally it. I get it, man. That was a scene. Cornerstone was like a cool
was
scene.
vibe.
It was
It was
dirty.
special.
It was dusty. It was very
Yeah.
muddy. Some years it was very muddy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we played there a lot of times. But, and then Stacy, I remember after we toured with you guys, I went and saw you guys open for Coldplay here in San Diego.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was insane. Me and Chad
Yeah.
went to that, and we were just standing there like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Oh my god! And we were just babies. Like I was.
How was that?
14.
What was that experience?
Well, yeah, I was 14, like on that tour, and I was also like such a huge fan, and so that was our first tour, and it was overwhelming, like, to be honest, in a good way, but also just like a whole lot. Being in the van for the first time for like 8 hours a day, and then playing these huge arenas, and then dealing with like the starstruck aspect. But it was also really amazing because they were so kind and so generous and encouraging, which was huge. I mean, for us being so young. I loved it.
That's so cool.
I felt thankful.
Did you get to talk to Chris Martin? What was he like?
He was so sweet. He was like in like Gwyneth World at the time, so she was out a lot, and they were hanging out a lot. But he would come out and watch our show and like wear a wig and like sit on the side of the stage and watch our set.
Nice.
So yeah, just a sweetie. Like he just is who you think he would be on and off stage. He's just like good vibes.
Well, you two together could write an incredible book, like with all the stories between you two of touring, of different bands, of different experiences. I mean, I could listen all day long to your stories. Darren, I'm thinking of one where you, in high school, rented a school bus to try to bring the cheerleading team to a church event, and no one showed up.
I guess I haven't heard that one.
I can't believe you remember that one.
Can you please tell us the short?
Yes.
Can you tell us the short version?
I was raised in a charismatic Christian church. I was extremely radical. I was radicalized from a few Acquire the Fire rallies and various other things. I was, if any of you went to school with that kid who identified himself as the trying to be a prophet, like, if they were going to continue writing the Bible, he wants to get his chapter. That was me. I was really intense. But I was also still a teenage boy. And there was a band called Raze that was coming, R-A-Z-E, that was coming to our church, and they were a dance group. And I thought that maybe this would be an amazing opportunity to kill two birds with one stone and witness to the entire cheerleading squad.
Whoa. Wow.
I mean, Drew, I carried my Bible every day. I used to listen to like Oral Roberts cassette tapes in between classes. I was so intense. And so my church, this was about 30 miles away from the school in the city of Springfield, had a bus come.
She's back.
She's back.
I'll get it.
Hey, sweetheart. Hey, something. So yeah, this bus driver came down. I had, tried really hard to invite all of the cheerleaders from the dance squad to come see. But none of them showed up. So the bus came and it just picked just me up, and I went to my church. Yeah. I forgot that story. I forgot about that.
Laugh,
yeah. Sometimes
so good.
I feel like my motives in attempting to make converts was pretty pure, and and I was trying to not pure, innocent, naive. And then other times maybe I was a little bit, maybe I was trying.
Dude, I love you. You have a childlike clarity to you that is just brilliant, man. And when you play music, I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever seen.
Thanks.
So I'm just saying that. I hope people watching go and follow you and check it out. You guys are in lockdown as well. Mm-hmm. Like, this is like live from lockdown, right?
That's right.
In Nashville, Tennessee. But I think Tennessee is going to open up before California. But on this whole, has there been anything that's hit you during this? We've talked about going in highs and lows, and being married is hard, and going through different phases of being on this lockdown journey of quarantine. But like, what are some of your takeaways from just this season of life right now?
I hope that as I try to answer this, I don't come across as too pessimistic. But today in particular, I have just felt down. I just have felt discouraged about the 30 million people filing jobless claims, knowing that number is underrepresented because I know that so many people are attempting to file for unemployment and are not able to right now because the systems are flooded. And I'm feeling spoiled and incredibly privileged. I have things like, I was looking forward to attempting to put together a tour. I was going to get to go to do some drum clinics in Asia that I was so excited about. Aside from that, though, I feel so lucky to be isolating with my 3 favorite people and be getting to work on music every day. And I feel scared for the months to come, but there are so many people whose right now has just become a tragedy. So yeah, this season has triggered for me a certain sense of purposelessness initially that has reminded me of what I know is my immediate purpose, and that's our 2 children. That's my wife. And,
cool.
And also my mother, who is currently isolated alone in Missouri, whom we're planning to have come stay with us soon. It's things like that I feel like is reprioritized things where I realized I was tripping about trying to achieve and make a name for myself, and maybe I need to still further slow down, and center a little bit better.
The Melody League sessions is something we want to do for artists to benefit the music makers of our time. It's so many people were playing live music like us, and now you can't have large events anywhere. So it's just shut down completely. It's crazy. I could never have imagined this.
I saw a really great Twitter thread from a historian today. She was talking about how we probably have not acknowledged the influence that the 1918, it was called Spanish flu, had on what became the Roaring Twenties. The era of decadence, flappers, partying, all that people attribute a lot to World War I, but there's also World War I immediately followed by the Spanish flu, and then by the 20s, when everyone was getting back on their feet, they went crazy again. So I'm kind of, is this selfish of me to hope for a season of dancing and partying in like 2022 or 21. I know that maybe I'll get to DJ and play some more sets and drum again, and we'll all get to get sweaty, bump up against each other again someday. Concerts. Let's talk for a second, if you don't mind, as someone who is a performer for a living, about the value of social gatherings and what they do for us, help us live longer. help keep us out of trouble.
It's right. It's true. Just the energy in a live show and the bumping up against each other that people do in art and mentally and just emotionally. You're in a room where everyone's moved by the emotion of the song at the same time.
Yeah.
And that moment is unlike listening to music at your house or...
I miss it so much.
Yeah, I do too. So we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through this time. We're gonna probably experience concerts where people are wearing masks and they're selling every other row in venues, and we're gonna get out there and try to perform to like half socially distant crowds with masks on. That's
like you've seen like
gonna be
the
weird.
Flaming Lips when Wayne Coyne has the bubble thing that he's in.
Yeah.
Just get everybody,
Yeah.
all bubbles.
Yeah.
Every single person
Yes.
is all bubbling around in there.
All
He
bubbles.
was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Ever
yeah.
ahead of his time, huh?
Yeah, Wayne, he's making a mint on those because now it's a mandate that all lead singers, if they go in the crowd, must be in a
Yeah.
bubble.
You must be wearing.
Contained.
Yeah, you must be wearing your bubble. Oh. John.
Well, the other thing that music does for people is allows them to express, and it gives words and it gives emotion to what they're feeling but can't express it. So there's people that are like, man, that song just said exactly what I'm feeling, or the way that you played drums was just the exact power that I was feeling in my spirit, and the drive or the vocal melody, the beauty of something, or the artistic lyric that you put together, Stacy. It gives a voice to people's hearts and emotions. And that's one of the things we're doing here with the Melody League. We just appreciate you guys so much. The community is going to rally behind you. The community is going to support these because we need music and music needs us. We need musicians and musicians need us. And we're going to make it through this time together. So this is building a camaraderie between people online that is all we can do right now. But we really, really, really appreciate you guys for doing a
my
Melody
God.
League session.
Well, we're so honored to be a part of this. Thank you so much. We're really, really excited.
I love your music. I love your voice. I love your playing. I love your producing. I love what you guys put together. I can't wait to watch your Melody League session coming up on Friday. I believe, is it going to be Friday? Something like that?
Friday the 8th. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. But everybody that's watching, follow Sucré. Is it Sucré or Sucré Music?
It's Sucre music, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So
Oh, you're
everybody
good.
that's watching, follow Sucré Music on Instagram and YouTube, and they're going to be doing a live Melody League session from their lovely home there in Tennessee, and it is going to be amazing, and we're going to support artists through this. You guys, any last words before we sign off?
Can I ask you a gear question? Is that
Always.
I can't see the headstock. Is that a Silvertone or a Dan Electro
Oh, this one.
behind you?
This is a silver tone. That's a
Ooh,
silver
she's a
tone.
beauty.
With the lipstick pickups, we have.
Yeah.
Can I show you? We have very similar. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
It's a
oh, where's that
54.
guitar? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love this thing. Stacy.
We have
Stacy.
a very similar one with the lipstick pickups.
Oh yeah.
Here.
John has that
I'm
version.
gonna put my earbuds back in so I can hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't these
John's-
the coolest?
Dude, those are
I
so
love
sick. You've got the 2 pickup version.
Yeah.
John's got that one.
This is the one that has the guitar amp case.
Yeah. It's like
in
this
it came in.
thin little rectangle.
And they're like plywood, or what are they made out of? You know, And
It's a particle board.
particle board, and then it looks like athletic tape, right?
Look at this.
Whoa.
It literally
buddies.
does. And these were actual lipstick, Revlon lipstick when they first made them.
Oh no, for real?
No, for real?
Yeah,
That-
they
they
sourced
actually-
cheap parts. They sold these things in Sears catalog, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And they sourced cheap parts and made
That is so
lipstick
cool.
pickups.
No, I attribute you to think about all that.
Pickups?
great-
I've never even, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Funny story about this one is you'll be able to relate to this, but my daughter wrote my name on the back of it in Sharpie.
Dad.
Dad.
She
Oh.
did.
She
How,
thought
how
it
did
was
she get
important.
the exact Toy Story font?
Ouch.
Like that looks exactly like Andy.
You're keeping that
Yeah.
guitar forever.
I know she also wrote it on my wallet, my shoes, a skateboard I had in the room. She's like, I thought you would want your name on stuff, Dad.
Yeah, to know. I have a similar. I have an old Guild F20 that I got because I found out that was the exact guitar that Nick Drake used. You know, and one day I was practicing playing that, and all of a sudden I heard, and Scarlett, who at the time was only, 1 year old and only had 2 top teeth, was just chewing. She was chewing on the guitar.
Like a rodent.
And then the moment I go like, oh no, but then I hung it up and I came back the next, and I swear like Butterfly Kisses started playing in my head, and I imagine the day that she's married, and I come back and pick up that guitar for the first time and I see the 2 chops.
That's so good.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm keeping you off.
No, it's good, man. I mean, that's just like life. We keep these guitars because they remind us of our world, in our lives, and where we were when we got them, and songs you've written on them, and
Yeah.
For sure.
moments. That's what music does. It gives us like a lot of landmarks and a
That's
lot
right.
of yeah.
Totally.
You guys, well,
Thanks so much again.
awesome. Thank you
thanks,
guys. Again, we'll be watching on Friday on Sucre Music's Instagram for their Melody League session. They're going to do a live concert from home, and there'll be a link that we hope that you click through and donate to the Artist Relief Fund, where 100% of everything we raise goes to the artists involved in Melody League sessions. It's brought to us by Wedgwood Circle, which is a great organization that supports art and music and things that are good, right, and true in the world. And we're so happy to have Darren King, DK drummer, and Stacy King from Sucre Music on the next Melody League session. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.